There is a very specific walk in the NBA. The ref points to the tunnel. The player rips off his jersey, or throws a towel, or screams at absolutely nobody. And he walks off, game over, for him, right there. That's an ejection. And today we're counting them. This is the real, documented, hard numbers list of the most ejected players in NBA history. Some of these names will surprise you. One of them is a sharpshooter you remember smiling on TV. And the man at the very top of this list has been thrown out of an NBA game 29 times. Let's get into it. Before the list, quick rundown of how you actually earn one of these. Because there's more than one way to get tossed. The most common route is 2 technical fouls in one game. Argue with a ref, show them up, slam the ball down in anger, rack up 2 of those, and you're gone automatically. No discretion, no warning. 2 strikes, and you're out. The second route is a flagrant foul penalty, the league's term for contact that's both unnecessary and excessive. Unlike the lesser flagrant one, a flagrant 2 comes with an immediate ejection, no second chance, plus an automatic fine from the league office. And then there's the referee's flat-out discretion fighting, an altercation, or conduct the officials decide simply cannot continue on their floor. No countdown needed. Just get out. So an ejections leaderboard isn't really one thing, it's a mixed bag of hot tempers, hard fouls, and constant arguing. Which is exactly what makes it such a fun list to break down, because every name on it got there a completely different way. To understand why certain guys rack up ejections at a historic rate, you have to understand the basketball culture a lot of them came up in.
Bill Laimbeer.
You never really ever liked Laimbeer in any social situation.
No.
Yeah.
And it's because he was a dirty player.
You've seen everybody's seen the footage of Bill Laimbeer. I mean, Bill, threw him.
Pistons were probably one of the best defensive teams. They were so physical but long. When you have people like Dennis and John Sally, I mean, you might get past Joe Dumars, but you got both of them to contend. And Laimbeer, he would just slam, right? That 3-guard combination of Isaiah, Joe Dumars, and Vinnie Johnson was unbelievable. We won one series against them, and then in '88, and then they came back and beat us in '89.
The late 1980s and early 90s, the Bad Boys Pistons, Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahern, a young Dennis Rodman. This team won back-to-back championships by making basketball as physically miserable as possible for the other team, and they were proud of it.
What was the hatred between those Bulls teams and those Pistons?
Oh, I hated him. And yeah, he carries even to this day. They made it personal. They physically beat the shit out of us.
When we played the Pistons in that series, it was arm-to-arm physical combat. But we never backed down. We fought them.
They literally built a defensive philosophy called the Jordan Rules. The entire strategy boiled down to, when Michael Jordan drives, he does not get a clean look, and he does not land softly.
War each and every night. We didn't say, oh, we got to play harder against the Bulls than we got to play. We played hard every night. That's why New York fans to this day embrace us in the 90s, Knicks, to whatever. And it's the early 90s. It's not the late ones. But anyway, they embrace that because one thing about New York fans is they know.
What was the toughest series that you ever were a part of?
The New York Knicks in '94, man. Oakley, Mason, Ewing, Charles Smith. It was just, man, I tell people I had 2 sprained wrists. I had 10 stitches in my arm. I got a hairline fracture in my tailbone. That's all after that series. I have never been so beat up after the game in my life. And that series, man, I remember you got an episode where I'm going to the hole and they take me out of the air and I just crashed. And I was like, man.
You have to be able to adapt to their physical style of play. It was probably the toughest place to play. 1, I couldn't stop paddling the outside. 2, if I got by them, now I got to face Oakley. And they taught me a lot about myself because, if you could take a hit from those guys and get up and continue to play, you can make it. But, a lot of times after the game, I thought my ribs and neck was broke because Oakley and Bonner and Mason going in there, you better go strong or you're going to be on your back and you're going to be on your back for once. And they never said, I'm sorry, or anything. They hit you and they look at you and they dare you to get up and talk smack. You can be dominating the game and still beating them, but they're going to match you.
The 90s Knicks played the same brand Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, Patrick Ewing, turning every playoff series into a wrestling match. Games routinely finished in the 70s because nobody could get a clean look at the rim. This was the era of the enforcer, a guy whose understood job was making sure a star player paid a physical price for coming into the paint. The league eventually cracked down hard, tightening the flagrant foul rule in the 1990-91 season specifically because guys were getting hurt. But the tempers that era produced didn't disappear. A lot of them just kept getting ejected for the next 2 decades. Here's the real sourced ranking. These are the most ejected players in NBA history.
Timeout LA. Whack! Get out! Get away from me, Steve. Get away from me, Steve. He didn't say a word. Technical foul, Wallace. He's gone. No, not right. I asked him 3 times to stop staring at me to try to intimidate me. I'm done. He's gone. I asked him. I told him. I have already told Mike twice before to have him stop staring to try to intimidate me. He did it again. He's gone.
He was ejected from the McDonald's.
Fact.
How? How the fuck you get kicked out of an all-star game?
How did that happen, bro?
Like, no, so I could deal with playing hard. If you busting my ass, I could deal with that. Yo, don't come at me with all the elbows and dirty shit, though. You ain't got to do that. The big boy, Darnell Robinson, it was like, yeah, he shot the elbow. I ain't appreciate that shit, man. So, I gave him that elbow back, and yeah, they gave me the tech, man, and kicked me out of that, man.
After 1 tech?
1 or 2, I didn't care. I didn't want to be there.
He is close to Rasheed Wallace, 29 career ejections, by far the most in league history. And here's the twist. Most of Sheed's ejections had almost nothing to do with dirty play. They were about talking. He couldn't stop arguing with officials. He once set a single-season technical foul record that stood for years. His signature line, "Ball don't lie," became a piece of NBA folklore, shouted every time a guy missed a free throw after a call she didn't like. He wasn't dirty. He was chronic. 29 times. A referee decided they'd had enough of Rasheed Wallace, and remember, this was a genuine all-star and a 2004 champion, one of the smartest big men of his era. He just could not hold his tongue.
If it's on Draymond, he's ejected. He's out.
I think he's going to get a flagrant foul out of this one, to be honest. It's right here where he grabs him by the foot. That's intentional.
Behind him, and the only man who can still catch him, Draymond Green, with 25 ejections, and he's still playing. Draymond is a 4-time champion and a Defensive Player of the Year, one of the smartest defensive minds the sport has produced. And he cannot stay on the floor. Flagrant fouls and suspensions in the finals. Kicks and flailing legs reviewed by the league office over and over. A stretch a couple of seasons ago where he was suspended indefinitely and had to step away from the game to reset. The tension with Draymond is real. The edge that makes him a great defender is the same edge that gets him ejected. He's chasing Rasheed Wallace's record right now, 4 behind, and given his track record, don't bet against him getting
First, I'm going to start with the technical that got you ejected, that was then rescinded. What happened there? I've never seen anything like that.
It's ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
But did it come out of your mouth accidentally? Is that what happened?
Yes, man. This is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
From my vantage point, I thought that he taunted our bench, and as he was taunting our bench, the mouthpiece flew out. The referee asked me if it was his mouthpiece. I said that it was. Then he asked me if he threw it, and I said no, he didn't, and that's why he came back.
But he spit it, didn't he?
It came out as he was yelling at our bench. His mouthpiece flew out. Whether it was intentionally spitting it out or not, I don't know.
Boogie was one of the most dominant defensive centers of his generation. At his peak, 30 points and 15 rebounds a night was routine. But his temper was a permanent storm cloud, and it followed him everywhere. His talent was undeniable. His ejection total is part of why the superstar tier never fully arrived for him.
Dwight Howard making some fans happy anyway as he passes out his jersey. He's done for the night.
27-24. Navigator leg kick at the controls. Flight 20.
A few moments ago. Well, he's had quite the collection of technical fouls since he's come out west, hasn't he? Wow, are they kicking him out?
Wow. Dwight Howard ejected for the 2nd straight game.
Dwight Howard at 17. Dwight's is a different story. He was simply the strongest human being on an NBA floor. A lot of his ejections came from contact that felt routine to him and looked like a car crash to everyone else. When you're built like that, gentle and excessive get measured very differently.
Sir Charles being introduced to the 19,000 plus on hand. They love their new superstar. And Charles,
bringing along a little silly lingo. Oh, give me a break there. That'll get you a technical. And then in the game's waning moments, Charles, playing some defense, grabs the rim to protect himself. A second technical was called. He was automatically ejected from the game. Barkley scored 27 in the game, added 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
Tied at 5th with 16 apiece. Charles Barkley and Anthony Mason. Charles Barkley, the round mound of rebound, an MVP, was 6'6", playing power forward against 7-footers. And he survived by being the meanest guy on the floor. He'd fight anybody.
Anthony Mason is a true 90s basketball character.
He was a freak. I mean, 6'6", 275, point guard. Should have been playing middle linebacker for the Giants or the Jets.
Could dribble, pass, shoot, and when Mace got his own, he became that player. He was that dude, man.
Well, Mace was obviously a tough player, mentally, physically. A guy his size, 6'7", could handle the basketball, play the point guard position.
Well, Anthony was a very tough guy, you know, and one of the best power forwards those couple of years in the league. It was fun playing with him.
Physicality that he brought to the game. And here again, you had another big man who was extremely good in passing the basket.
Funniest swings I ever seen. He either thought twice about this vine or thought twice about punching Anthony Mason. Look at this swing. He pulled that. He too long for that.
Mason was the purest enforcer of the 90s Knicks built like a bank vault, and his entire game plan was making the paint a bad place to visit. When people describe how brutal that era was, Mason is usually who they're picturing.
So Shaq's out of here. That basket will not count. The mess. There's the mess. Karolinko was fouled right there by Luke Walton. Then the slam dunk.
Shaquille O'Neal, 14 ejections. Shaq was so overwhelmingly large that a normal Shaq movement was, legally, a foul. Teams famously resorted to just tackling him to slow him down. Matt Barnes, 13. A career agitator who made a living being the guy nobody wanted to guard, he once faked throwing a ball into Kobe Bryant's face just to see if he'd flinch. He didn't. And tied at 12 apiece, a genuine Hall of Fame of hot tempers. Kenyon Martin, Dennis Rodman, and Reggie Miller. Yes, Reggie Miller. The sweet shooting pacer you remember from TV was one of the great agitators the league has ever seen. He'd shove off, talk trash all night, and get under your skin until you snapped, and it cost him 12 trips to the locker room early. Just below that tier, tied at 11 each, is a wall of familiar names. Gary Payton, Steven Jackson, Carmelo Anthony, Dillon Brooks, Russell Westbrook, Metta World Peace, and Patrick Beverley, active players like Brooks and Westbrook still very much capable of climbing this list. And we can't talk about NBA discipline without the night that changed everything. November 19, 2004. Detroit versus Indiana. A hard foul escalated into a shoving match, a fan threw a drink, and players went into the stands. It's remembered as the Malice at the Palace, the ugliest incident in modern NBA history. The punishment went far beyond a normal ejection. Ron Artest, later known as Metta World Peace, was suspended for the rest of the entire season, one of the harshest penalties the league has ever handed down. It reshaped how the NBA have thought about player conduct forever. Tighter rules, harder enforcement, a dress code, and real separation between players and fans at every arena in the league. So here's the real debate. Could a player rack up 29 ejections if he were coming up today? Almost certainly not as easily. The flagrant foul rule has real teeth now, replay reviews catch borderline calls, and the league's tolerance for the old enforcer style of physicality is basically zero. A lot of what earned Bill Laimbeer's generation a reputation would be an automatic ejection and a suspension today. But the technical foul route Rasheed Wallace ran up his total on? That one's still wide open. Which is exactly why Draymond Green, a modern player, is still within reach of the all-time record. So there's the list. Rasheed Wallace at 29, untouchable for now. Draymond Green at 25 and climbing. Boogie, Dwight, Barkley, Mason, Shaq, Matt Barnes, and Reggie Miller sneaking in as the nicest guy on a very unnice list. Here's my question for you. Does Draymond Green break Rasheed Wallace's record before he retires? He's 4 behind. I say he gets there in a playoff game, with the whole league watching. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments. And drop the name of the player you think deserves to be higher on this list. I want to see who this comment section really can't stand. Hit subscribe, because next we're ranking the greatest defenders in NBA history, guys who didn't need a single ejection to ruin your night. I'm out. Catch you in the next one.